Well, that's more like it. The Nuggets absolutely jump up and down on the Phoenix Suns, get the win. First win of the season in the home opener on Saturday night. We'll break it down and tell you why this year's Nuggets team is going to be the number one offense in the NBA. All this and more on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us, being an everydayer, hanging out with us Monday through Friday, making us your first listen. We do appreciate all your support, whether you're listening to us on the podcast, where we do love those 5-star reviews, or if you're checking us out at youtube.com/LockedOnNuggets, as folks are joining us here at midnight Mountain Time in the chat. Lots of folks hanging out with us. For those of you that might be new and are wondering, like, hey, what's the deal? So post game is like another hour after the game ends. And then I live in northern Colorado, and it's about an hour drive. So like it will be a while until we get home, and which is usually okay, honestly, because it's like DNVR is.
Yeah. And Nikola spoke tonight. So like on the nights where Nikola speaks to the media at the podium, obviously I try to stick around because it's part of the job. You want to do the right thing.
But Nikola Jokic.
Right. You gotta wait for the guy, and that's fine. But it's just part of the song and dance. So we'll do our best. But it is on home games, probably going to be a late night show.
Okay. We have lots to get to. Nuggets get the win versus the Phoenix Suns in the home opener. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about what our expectations are for this season after the first two games, because we do kind of have some takeaways already. They do get the win over the Suns, 133-111. This was an 11-point game in the fourth quarter. And then the starters were just like, yeah, no, we're done here. And ran them out of the building. Did not need to play the final 2 minutes, which saved some minutes. I told Ryan to start the fourth quarter. I was like, well, okay, 0-for-1 on blowing a team out so much that the starters don't have to go back in. But they still were able to get the minutes down, which I think is great. I do not have Adelman wants us to talk about the second half turnovers, that the second half was bad in that regard. They sucked in the second half.
To clip that. They were fine.
Yeah. I mean, this was a demolition. And honestly, I got to say, I'm higher on the Suns than most. And I will say that I was not underwhelmed by the Suns tonight. I actually think the Suns will still probably wind up being a not good. Like good is like over 500. 40 to 43 wins is like, okay, you're all right. They will not be good this season. I think they'll be competitive in a lot of games. On a back-to-back, they were completely outmatched in this game. And it was a great performance by Denver, honestly.
Yeah, it wasn't close. This was one where the Nuggets at various points had different levels that they were able to reach throughout the game. They amped it up at various points in the first half and closed the half, I think, with a really nice finish that I think pushed it to about 71-54. So they're on pace for about 142 points. And then, as Adelman mentions, and Jamal Murray also mentioned at postgame, yeah, things got a little bit sloppy in the second half. To focus on the turnovers, need to get those down, need to be better on that, yada, 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 of course. But that is also sort of how it happens sometimes in games like this, where you're feeling yourself in front of the home crowd. Everybody's amped. Everybody's playing great. And Denver did play great. This was a really impressive offensive and at some points defensive performance from the Nuggets. I thought their first quarter defense especially was really, really good. And there's just a lot of positive takeaways that we can have. A good way to turn the page from what happened on Thursday, and an understanding, like, you got to perform in front of the home crowd on opening night at home, and they delivered. It was a show.
outside of the turnovers, is there anything we can complain about? Anything?
No, I don't have a single real thing.
Well, okay, I got one.
I can come up with things.
I got one. They gave up 53 pointers.
That's true. I think the bench in particular was the main culprit there. Or at least that's when I noticed it the most, especially in that late third, fourth quarter. But it was happening throughout, and Denver, I think, is going to have to, like, that's what they give up. And Adelman actually mentioned post game that they are very, like, they're going to build their defense from inside out. They want to protect the paint. They're helping down to the nail. They're going to sometimes give up threes as a result. You have been against that on a pretty consistent basis. And I kind of agree with you in the long term, but in the short term against a team on the second night of a back-to-back like the Phoenix Suns, it was clearly the right call.
I want to address this comment because it's something I was thinking about during the game. Would have liked Jokic to have been more aggressive on offense. Why? Like, okay, so Nikola in this game was a plus 27, 14 points on 5 of 8 shooting, missed all of his threes, so he was 5 of 5 from inside, 14 rebounds, 15 assists, and three steals. His hands
had
were
like
very
11 assists in the first half alone, Matt.
So the key with this actually is to think about this the next time the Nuggets lose and he plays like this. Because you see how much better the offense is when he plays like this. Which is not to say that him scoring 30 is a bad thing. Nikola does it because he can or he needs to. This is closer to what I think Nikola wants. Like, I think this is like what Nikola wants here. He played 32 minutes. He only shot 8 times. He would have liked more free throws because God, he was working for him.
Okay.
15 assists. No, pretty much throughout the night. I mean, he was just he is constantly pointing out in game, like in live play, every time he feels like there's a foul.
You do realize that Devin Booker's doing the same thing on the other side, right?
It doesn't mean that I pay attention to Nikola. Like, I don't know. It's a common thing, but again, used to be different. I don't know why this bugs you. Like, you can just admit that you should get off of the other people are whiny floppers and Jokic is fine. Like, you could just admit that you got to get off of it.
Like, you just have to hold them all to the same standard. You've held Nikola to the highest of standards, and on this too, because this is a very specific thing that I think, like, look, he shot 8 times. He took 4 free throws. I don't care. Like, you can point out all of the foul baiting tactics, whatever. Like, it didn't work, clearly. Like, it didn't affect the game. The Nuggets took 42 free throws and he took 4 of them.
But he also wasn't posting up, Ryan. Like, he wasn't posting up. He was operating from the elbow, and he was awesome in it. And that, like, is the real lesson here. It's just like, the next time that he has this game where he doesn't shoot that much, we should remember games like this and be like, look, if the offense operates the way that it needs to, he doesn't need to shoot. Like, this should be the expectation. Like, he shot a lot last year because he needed to shoot a lot last year, and he was incredible. His efficiency is otherworldly. But, like, this is what he's capable of. So, like, I feel just like maybe next time I need to give him a break when he's not, quote-unquote, aggressive, because, like, it's not always the way for him to play. And Adelman kind of talked about how it's like, if they're going to triple team him, this is what, like, then, yeah, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah. And
I think that's like kind of the end of it.
No, for sure. Look, it was a great game from him. Just objectively a great game. I thought his defense was much better today. His levels against Devin Booker were very good. I know that Devin Booker still had a really good game overall, but it just felt like Booker wasn't able to consistently get other people involved in an efficient manner. And Booker also had nine turnovers tonight.
Yeah, but he had 7. He did have 7 assists. Like, he was.
Oh yeah, I mean, no, he had the ball in his hands the entire. He is their point guard. He's like their James Harden for this upcoming season. But like, you take that, I think, with what they did in generating nine turnovers.
Yeah, and like one of them was like, so Royce O'Neal got Jokic on a switch and didn't attack him, and gave the ball back to Booker on a DHO, which brought 2 to the ball, and then Booker turns it over. Yeah. And then Booker was mad at Royce, even though I don't know if he was mad at him just for bringing him back into the action instead of just attacking Yoke, but like that's a coin flip there in that situation where I'm like, okay, it is Royce O'Neal, but also it's Nikola in space. I don't know, like which area to go there.
Every star is going to want to shoot they're going to want their guys to shoot a pull-up 3 over Nikola. Like that is what they want. They want Jokic to back off, and they want their guy to get a good shot, and they get a good shot a lot of the time. So, like the steals, the hands were really good. Jokic after the game talking about they're still learning some of the defensive coverages. They're still trying to get on the same page in terms of all of the new terminology and play calls. And so that'll take some time, but he thinks that that's the next step for the group as a whole, to get them a little bit more, aggressive on the ball specifically. And I thought this was a really good example of it tonight.
Coming up, we'll talk more about the game. We'll talk about the bench and what we think about it as it continues to evolve. Another pretty good night, honestly, for it. And we'll continue to basically just like talk about how awesome the Nuggets are, because they were great tonight. We'll do that coming up on Locked On Nuggets. Your ambition just met its match. With Robinhood, you play for the win, not just on game day, every day. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto, all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood's Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. We're also brought to you today by DoorDash. The NBA season's heating up, and DoorDash has found the perfect way to keep fans in their bag all season long. Whether you're watching for the highlights, your fantasy team, or just your favorite player, DoorDash makes every game night even better. DoorDash is the official on-demand delivery platform of the NBA, and they're celebrating with something called the Bag Drop. Every time an NBA player scores 50 in a game, DoorDash drops 50% off your order with Dash Pass the next day, and you're automatically entered for a chance to win the ultimate fan bag. We're talking player-inspired drip, exclusive gear, and stuff you'll actually want. You can get all sorts of great stuff, headphones, ice, even socks delivered with DoorDash. DoorDash has you covered for all late night highlights, last minute watch parties, and double OT fuel ups. So the next time someone goes off for 50, use promo code NBA50 the next day to get 50% off on DoorDash with Dash Pass, plus your shot at the bag drop. Dash Pass members only. 50% off up to $10 a day after a 50-point game with promo code. Terms apply. No purchase necessary. Ends April 13th. Open to U.S. residents 21 or older. Visit DoorDashinYourBag.com for full details. DoorDash in your bag all season long. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Ryan, what were your thoughts about the rotation tonight?
It was great. It was another example of a tremendous rotation that makes sense to me. I have come away from the first 2 games believing that Denver is going to win a lot of them because of how simple it is. It's not complicated. It is not like, this is not a situation where you have to get guys in sooner. There is a very clear flow of what's supposed to happen, where Murray comes out at the 6 to 7 minute mark of the first quarter. He comes back in when Jonas Valanciunas comes back in to replace Joker. Might come back in a little bit earlier depending on the flow of the situation, but it just felt to me like everything makes sense. And it's mostly a 9-man rotation, but it might expand to 10 at various points. I tend to think that gets a little bit more confusing, and guys' individual stretches are going to be a little bit more complicated. However, I thought it was completely justified what David Adelman did tonight, and think that this makes the most sense for the vast majority of the games that the Nuggets are fully healthy.
So last year I identified that one of the problem areas that popped up was Jokic with the bench guys right? Because that had been rock solid until last year. And then last year, it kind of dropped off. Once Christian moved to the starting unit, when it started to be Jokic and the bench guys, I got like real like, ooh, they're losing a lot of leads. And it's back to being awesome. Like it's just back to absolutely killing teams. You put Bruce on the floor with Nikola. You put honestly Tim Hardaway Jr. So THJ was a +5 tonight. Didn't shoot the ball well. 1 of 6, 1 of 5 from 3.
Started off slow.
What I love about THJ though is his willingness to take the shot when it's there. Is that there? I think it's very hard in this offense. One of the few things that's difficult once you learn it, because I think there is a learning curve. But once you learn it and you understand how to play with Nikola, once it clicks, it's easy. But there's a problem of, should I shoot this or should I keep passing because we could get a better shot? We can get a layup. We can get a dunk. It's not even just like, should I get the ball back to Nikola? It's just like, okay, I'm open, but I'm not completely open. It's not like obviously you got to shoot this.
Sure.
Should we keep moving it? And I like the fact that THJ is like, nope. This is a catch and shoot in rhythm 3, and I'm an NBA veteran that takes these. This is my job, is to take this shot, and I'm going to take it. And I don't think the difference is I don't mind having a quick trigger on any catch and shoot opportunity. I do not mind them. I mind them very much on pull-up opportunities. Like you taking like Booker, they got it to 11, and I actually thought they might have made it a little sweaty. But then Booker took 3 pull-up threes in succession that the Nuggets ran off of.
Yeah.
And that got them going, and then they blew the game open. So I love THJ in this role. I continue to really love Peyton Watson. By the way, his dunk, oh my God.
Like his dunk, AG's dunk, like Showtime. Absolute amazingness from the Nuggets tonight in the highlight reels.
So Val was a -5. He missed a lot of really good looks on pick and pops.
Yeah.
Like he got great looks on floaters and pick and pop jumpers that he will probably wind up hitting. 7 boards though for JV. And it's like, it's totally fine for him to have this -5. Don't know why Cam missed the end of the first half, but I did love, go ahead.
Well, I was talking about this with, I think it might've been Brendan. I'm not sure who, but he was just getting beat the hell up. Like the Suns were playing so physical with him, and he got punched in the face. He got elbowed. He's just like Dylan Brooks is doing Dylan Brooks things. And they were just playing a very physical brand of basketball. So I wondered if they were just kind of saving Cam towards the end of that half and thinking, okay, you know what? We'll get another spacer out there, but take a little break here. We need you for the long haul. But I would love to know that as well. That's just a theory.
Spencer Jones came in and just absolutely locked down Book.
Yeah. He's a great defender.
His energy defensively, you can tell, really resonated with David Adelman because it's a teaching moment. Like he's able to talk to Julian Strother, who has a guaranteed contract. He's able to talk to Deron Holmes, who has a guaranteed contract. He's able to talk to Zeke Naji, who has a guaranteed contract, and be like, I put the two-way guy in, and he absolutely just went to work and was like ready to go immediately. Hurricane asked to Spencer Jones, Torrey Craig. I actually think Spencer's a more complete player. Like I think he can shoot. So
in theory, it still hasn't hit in practice at the NBA level. We will see what happens when he gets those shot opportunities. But Adelman made mention of it earlier tonight that he shot high 40s in the G League from 3. So they believe in his shots. And I continue to think that, like, look, there's a lot of people that are upset that Julian isn't playing, that Deron Holmes isn't playing, that Jalen Pickett isn't playing. You can't have space for everybody. And the way that the Nuggets rotation is working out right now with the types of players that they have, the biggest hole in the rotation on a consistent basis is the 6'8", 6'9" forward that can space, but is mostly out there to guard and just take some pressure off of people. And I love it. I think that there is a great opportunity for those guys in the league to just carve out some time and be a defensive specialist. Spencer Jones can absolutely do that. He'll have to grow the rest of his game, but I do think that, like, he's an elite defender. He really is a strong defender and very smart too. He went to Stanford.
We talked about in the preseason, though, about wanting them to run 10 or 11, and they're definitely running 9. Does that bug you at all? Because we were like, It could be Julian. It could be Jalen. It could be, and it's like, nope, it's neither of those. Oh, then it's Duran. Nope.
Yeah.
Not that guy either.
Doesn't bug me in the slightest. And the biggest reason is because there will be injuries, there will be absences, there will be times throughout the year where other guys will be able to get in. But the actual blending of the lineups and the rotations and the substitutions and making things fit and making things cohesive is just so much simpler with 9, Matt, especially with the one stagger that they are going with right now. If they stagger multiple guys, if they're willing to shorten some rotations on guys, if other guys are willing to continue to buy in, then sure. But they've still got chemistry to work out right now. And the way you get chemistry is with time.
Okay.
Can we talk about the AG dunk?
Go, sir.
Like, Joker said he was surprised that like he turned his pass into a highlight, said it was a 10 out of 10. AG deserves a ton of credit. We've given him a bunch of credit on this show. Specifically, Matt has twisted my arm and put it behind my head in order to make sure that I give credit to Aaron Gordon on a consistent basis, and deservedly so. He received the biggest ovation tonight from any of the fans, like when they introduced players and coaches. He is beloved by this fan base in so many important and valuable ways. And one of the important reasons is that he dunks the ever-loving hell out of the basketball. That dude is an unbelievable dunker. And it was really cool to see him get up and throw down a 360 alley-oop. You just very rarely see that in a game. And for him to be able to pull that out, even like at this geriatric stage of his career, is really, really impressive.
I think, Adam was talking about how genuine he is after the game. I do think that there's something more here, which honestly, and like this kind of gets to be a divisive thing in even NBA culture. Like there's a real appreciation for what I would describe as chuckers. Like there's a real appreciation for it. Like, oh, that dude's he gets buckets. It's like, well, he shoots 35% or he's shooting 40% from the field. I don't care about your stats. He gets buckets. Okay. But like he misses, if you watch, he misses more than he makes. He gets bucket. And so many guys choose that line of thinking because they've always been great and they choose that. And when they were going to trade for Aaron, like my deep concern was like, I asked around and they're like, yeah, Aaron's camp is looking for like $100 million in free agency. And like, the way you get that is to be a superstar. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if you want that here. And it could not be further from the truth. And to me, that's the biggest thing here is I think fans love the fact if Aaron takes a shot that you're like, that's a bad shot, it's mostly that it missed. And it's mostly that it feels like maybe it was a bit too much confidence in himself, but it's rarely like an early shot clock jumper. It's rarely off of a bad matchup. Like he's playing comfortably and confidently. Aaron manages to play confident basketball while not needing to prove himself. Aaron Gordon plays like a guy that does not have anything to prove to anybody because he knows what wins basketball games.
He's stamped. Like he's done everything in this league outside of making an all-star game that like you could possibly do and want. Like he's now scored a 50 ball. Like he's gotten his dunk contest, like not champ, but like he's been amazing in this league for a long ass time.
I am with Adelman on this. We got to stop making All-Star is such a dumb honor. I'm not even kidding. It shouldn't be used in Hall of Fame discussions. Like we should use All-NBA. That's a meaningful accomplishment. And I would rather, if I were a player, I would rather have Aaron Gordon's career than a lot of All-Stars that have come and gone. And AG's ability still to, like, it's funny because in preseason they were asking about who's the best dunker on the team. And they were like, well, you know, what about you? And he was like, I don't know, man. He was like, age 25, I was jumping over mascots. That's a long time ago. And still, though, man, like, he's got incredible athletes. Like, he is one of the most gifted athletes I think I've ever covered. And I've covered, like, Fareed was up there too. But the coordination to be able to pull that dunk off end game was absolutely nuts. It was absolutely just ridiculous.
He is amazing to watch, especially when he's healthy. And you could just tell how healthy he is right now. Knock on wood. Like, everybody can hear that. He absolutely deserves this moment and this opportunity to just be able to round out his game in this way that he has, and also be able to have the health that goes with it.
And we've made reference to it enough that I think we gotta, like, I need to stipulate exactly the thing and not twist your words. Ryan and I have an ongoing discussion about AG because Ryan feels that due to the amount of minutes, miles, game type, and position of AG, that by the time that AG is 32, he will likely have to transition to a bench role. And I and every other person we've spoken with has agreed that it's probably 34 when that occurs.
Yeah.
And that's the crux of the decision. Like, nobody's arguing that AG's washed now. Nobody's arguing that AG's not awesome now. Ryan obviously knows those things.
He's amazing.
But that's the kind of thing. And Ryan tends to be somebody that wants to give the young guys potential the benefit of the doubt. And I tend to be the type of guy that wants to give veterans who have actually done something in the league the benefit of the doubt.
I will be clear that the only reason that he would ever come off the bench is if there was somebody else that actually deserved it. And that is the clear stipulation there. Somebody else would have to deserve it in that case.
Yeah,
and that may or may not.
And for me, that bar is so high. Like, I don't know who they would get that would be better.
And it might stay high. And that will be, if it does, I will eat all the crow. That'll be just fine with me.
Coming up. Hey, you know who actually had a pretty good game tonight? Cam Johnson. Let's go ahead and revisit that. We'll talk about that coming up on Locked On Nuggets. Basketball season's officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in. The app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets, easy and stress-free. I love that what you see is what you pay for. Hidden fees, when I am like, oh, I can afford that, and click on it, and then it winds up being way more expensive, I get mad. There's no hidden fees at checkout with Game Time. You can see exactly what your view is going to look like. If you haven't yet, go watch the Avalanche. Going to Avs games is so much fun. It's absolutely incredible. So go make sure to check out the Avalanche. Or if you want to, you can go watch the Broncos because they're winning games. Their zone deals are a game changer. You pick the section, Game Time picks your seats, and you save big. You can even find NBA tickets for under $25. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets, Cam Johnson had the first bucket of the game for the Denver Nuggets. They ran some screen action that was absolutely a nightmare.
They ran that play 3 times in a row. Yeah. Three different looks, 3 different buckets. It was amazing. And I commented on that to Nikola post game, and he was just like, yeah, got a lot of great guys and got a lot of options. And Cam is one of those.
This is where the talent side is the important part, right? I tend to resist the idea of talent being everything, and it's true. If you have great talent, but they don't have if they don't have synergy or chemistry or cohesion, and they're not bought in, and you don't have a good coach, then it's not going to mean anything. But if you have a really good scheme and a really good system and a really good set of options, but the talent doesn't force decisions to be made, it's not going to work out at all. Because on the first play, they were so freaked out by AG's cut that they doubled down on him and left Cam Johnson wide open, and he knocked down the three. And on the next play, they're like, no three for you. Oh, there goes Aaron Gordon. So it's just like it's tough. Those split actions they run are such a nightmare. I watch them over and over and over again, trying to figure out like how you should defend these things, and like there's just not a good answer.
Yeah,
like there's just not one. Which is why they run it so much. Cam Johnson, 15 points tonight, 4 of 9 shooting, 1 from 3, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, was physical and aggressive. I thought he really started to figure some stuff out second half with Nikola too. Their 2-man game started to kind of come alive. I'm not going to sit here and like, because I was thinking about this today about how much I've tried to like lower the bar on Cam. And I've said like 45 days. Adelman's is 10 games. That's the one that he thinks. He thinks the first 10 games is going to take Cam time to settle in. I'm not going to like overreact to this and be like, oh, hey, but you did see more of kind of like what you want it to look like. And I think some of this too is you can't force yourself. This is tough. You can't force yourself to adjust or adapt, but you can just play basketball and play your game and be impactful and effective. And it is reasonable to ask that of Cam Johnson, even if he's still trying to figure stuff out. And I thought he was a lot more of that tonight.
I think that like the starters like this, I wanted to really hit on this, that especially when Cam is looking good. Christian Brown had 20, Aaron Gordon had 17, Jamal Murray had 23. Hey, pretty good darn Jamal Murray game. And we haven't mentioned him much. Like he's just, pretty much a pencil in the 22-6, 23-7, somewhere around there. When the starters go across the board and their points and their plus minus all look like that, it doesn't matter who's getting the opportunities. It just doesn't. Like Nikola, as you mentioned, 8 shots earlier. Cam Johnson had 9. Gordon had 11. Murray had 17. He was with the bench unit a fair amount, and Christian had 10. Like they all had free throws. They all had about the same opportunities, except Jamal had slightly more. And it's just nice to see the balance. Like they can attack in so many different ways.
How would you have felt tonight if you were a Suns fan and you looked at this free throw margin?
Overwhelmed, annoyed, irritated. The problem is that their starting center was out, and they are also playing small on the, like they don't have a traditional 4, for example.
Yeah.
Like Ryan Dunn is their 4 a lot of the time. Dylan Brooks is their 4 a lot of the time. Royce O'Neal plays the 4 sometimes. Nigel Hayes Davis. Like they just don't have, like they've got good size on for wings, but certainly not for 4s. And then Oso Iguodala is an undersized 5. So they're just overwhelmed. And that's, I asked Adelman about that. And I asked him about like with the concept of the 3-point conversation. And he's like, yeah, we only made 9 threes. I'd like to take more. I think we should take more. I was more saying like, even when the 3 is not dropping is what I was trying to say. But he's like, why would we do anything else other than try to go get 60 points in the paint and 40 free throws?
To be fair, let's say hypothetically that they paid attention to the show, which obviously they don't, because they don't listen to anything or read anything and are completely oblivious. But if they got the cliff notes of our show, it would be very annoying to hear how much you and I rail on the 3-point thing.
I think that their offensive process was amazing tonight.
Yeah,
it's
not like I'm gonna sit. Yeah, it's not like I'm gonna sit here and be like, yeah, no. If you can create layups every time, I get it. And like this team might honestly be capable of. I'm gonna have to back off of the 3-point thing. The only reason this game was close for a while was because of the 3-point margin. Like it was the only reason the Suns were able to hang around, and then they cooled off again. And when they cooled off, it really got bad. There will be teams, I think, that, you know, especially on the road defensively, I think that maybe that's like actually a pretty good way to think of it, right? Because I was thinking about this tonight, watching tonight's team. I was like, oh God, this team is going to go like, they've got a chance to be absolutely elite at home again because of the combination of them running and the energy and how much better their roster is. And they have been bothered by their home performance the last 2 seasons. And I do think it's going to pick up this year. And with that in mind, like, you know, they can go something ridiculous here at home.
Yeah.
But that's also maybe kind of like part of this, like the composition of their season might be, hey, 3-pointers are going to be really important on the road. Turnovers are going to be really important on the road. Like, being sober might be really important at home. Like, that might be the bar here. Like, if they're awake and sober,
show up to work in peak physical condition.
Yes, not even peak. Not asking for peak. Show up in good, like, be able to walk in the door.
Yeah. Hey, get up and down the floor, guys. Like,
can I do want to talk about this because I think it's actually like an interesting one. A lot of people have noticed Joker's body language. And I just think he gave that quote right before the season started about the ice cream thing. About how, look, I love ice cream, but I don't want it every day. And I just think that Joker has reached the point where he can love basketball, but not love regular season NBA basketball. And this is a job, and it demands a lot from him, and he gives it at a high level, and he's one of the best to ever do it. But I am kind of like putting away my short-term hopes of a return of happy, joyful, loving, lovable Joker. I just don't think that guy, I think he's just outgrown it. I think by the time that when he hits that point in his career when it's like they start to see the end and then they're just really grateful for being able to do this because they know the end is coming, I think he'll be back to that. But I just think for right now, he's going to be pretty cranky a lot of the time.
He's carried the heaviest burden in the NBA for a long time. I hope that, like, everybody hopes that this is a season where he can step off the ledge a little bit, take, like, you know how you're gripping the steering wheel and you want to make sure that, like, I'm not going to let go of the steering wheel. Never going to do, like, he can ease up his grip on the steering wheel for this team just a little bit with all of the steps forward that everybody else and the rotation and the minutes and the coaching and different things are taking. I hope that allows him to relax for a little bit and enjoy the moment. He may not, like, that may not be what he is. Like, he was amped, and he gave a quote earlier tonight that was basically like, I never relax. I never take my hands off of the steering wheel effective. Like, that's me paraphrasing for him, but, like, he is going to be amped and focused and laser focused, I think, until he feels like he doesn't have to be. And I think when that seriousness comes in is where he really starts to, like, lose some of the humorous aspects of himself.
I don't know. I get where you're coming from. I just have a hard time with it because I don't watch him and be like, man, he is, like, locked in. Especially
you see him on the bench, like, he's
like that first game. Right?
I thought he was locked in tonight. I genuinely think he tried to have a good possession every single time down the floor.
Yeah, I think I just think he wants them. I mean, I think bad basketball bothers him. And not
playing good basketball.
Like, not playing the right way bothers him. And I think that he does want that. I don't know that I would say locked in, especially with various things. Locked in on the officials. I gotta tell you that. That's one thing that he is. Do you like? So the backstory here is that Ryan often complains about calls. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, oftentimes, as you know, it's to fill the silence. It's not necessarily for any, like, serious reason. Like, oh man, I have a vendetta against the calls at this point in time. It's more of just like me liking to react to basketball.
Yeah. Has criticized Shea, which totally fair. Guy gets an insane whistle. Really does.
Doesn't he shot 40 free throws through the first 2 games or so? Now he's played a third.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. He shot like 26 the other night. It was nuts.
A lot.
I think my only thing, and like this is nitpicking because it's like, do you want him to be great and complain about the officials, or do you want him to be not great and not complain about the officials? And I'd be like, wow, okay, I'll take the greatness for Yoke. And I don't disagree. I've said this consistently. Like, I understand that he gets beat up. I get that. Like, I have tried to consistently in national discussions about Alex Caruso point out, like, I make the same joke every time, which is Alex Caruso gets the suplex any big he runs into, and it's called plucky defense. Nonsense. Like, Alex Caruso's overrated because they let him suplex any center that he plays against. Very good defender.
But the difference there, by the way, is that people feel the same way about Lou Dort, and you don't.
It's true, because Dort is just like, he's a physical defender, and that's okay. I just do think that Nikola is paying like a lot of attention all the time to the officiating. Like, when I watch him, like, it just stands out how much he is talking and and it is a change from how he used to be. And also that might just be like, hey, it was easier for him to get beat up at age 27 than it is at age 30. And he's tired of it. Really gets old after a while. 3 more years of getting beat up makes a man cranky. But I just kind of wonder, like, I do miss when he would just play through stuff and not try and work the officials as much. I get why guys do it. It's just a bummer that that's what is necessary.
So for what it's worth, Jamal actually made mention of the officials tonight and how they are, I think, as a team, but him and I think especially Nikola are trying to figure out what they can and can't do at this stage of the season, what they can and can't get away with, what others can and can't get away with, because it does change. And they are trying to kind of get that feeling. And so when you're having, it's not just complaining all the time with the refs, it's discussion. It's like, okay, so we can do this, we can't do this. Like, this is, I think, part of the song and dance now in the NBA. You have to figure out what the officials, like, it's like what kind of strike zone umpires are going to call. They should just call what's within the strike zone, but sometimes they call things on the black on the outside, and sometimes they don't call it on the inside, or sometimes they call it high, sometimes they don't call it low, things like that.
So Liz says it's because of OKC, especially in the playoffs. And I actually disagree with this. I think OKC does play a very physical brand of basketball, and they do press those limits and force you to either call everything or not call that much. I think that's definitely true. And I do think that the fact that Shea is able to generate the calls that he does while they play that defense is frustrating. That's frustrating because that's inconsistent. But the physicality is more a product of how they called the entire playoffs last year. The last month of the regular season and the playoffs, they just called it entirely differently. And the teams, it seems like, all entered the season with the idea that they thought it was going to be like that. Like, I tried to kind of sound the alarm on this and be like, so it sounds like people think that they're going to do this, and I don't think they are. And what do you know? We are looking at like the highest free throw rate through the first 3 games that we've seen in several years.
Yeah.
And it's inconsistent. And like, if you're the Suns tonight, I would actually, like, if you're the Suns tonight, I would be more mad. I would be like, I'm sorry. They shot 42 and the one guy we're willing to foul. Like, if you put Jokic on the line 15 times, fine. But you got Christian Brown shooting 8 of them. Val went 5. Aaron Gordon, Cam Johnson got 6 free throws.
Which
he
is
barely
wild.
touched the ball.
Yeah.
So, I know Cam was getting beat up tonight, but I think that's like where some of that frustration comes from, is like the misapplication of some of those ideas. Finally, I think before we get out of here is I do want to talk about Jamal. So Jamal, 8 of 17 is not going to go nuts. 23 points, 5 assists, 22 and 6, 23 and 5. Regular as clockwork. But honestly, with him only playing the 32 minutes, I just continue to be like, this is just a phenomenal season from Jamal. Like, not season. It's too early to say that. It's been a phenomenal 2 games in the preseason from Jamal. Like, he is doing the thing. It has been terrific. I love every single thing he has done on the floor. Jamal has not frustrated me with a shot, decision, sequence, anything. Everything I think has been great from Jamal Murray.
It's awesome. He made mention of I think Vinny asked him about the narrative that he starts slow. And like, does it bother you? Does it bother you, the narrative that you start sowing? He's like, yeah, that's why I'm trying to have a good October and November. Like he does, like, it does get to him. It does, like, he does care about it. But rather than be annoyed by it and also continue to do it, he has clearly made a change. He's clearly approached, and we were talking about this the entire time. So we've been on this. Like, he approached the offseason, the training camp, the preseason, and the beginning of the season with the exact mentality on and off the court that you want to see from him. He has been delivering on all of those things. He's been a great leader. I think he's been a good representative of like who the Nuggets want to be. And I think he also has this sense of, we can do something special this year because of the group that we have. And I want to be ready for it and deliver when the time comes. It just seems like he's in a really great place. And like you said, this is the best basketball he's ever played at the beginning of his career in the NBA.
Beginning of the season. Yeah.
Beginning of the season.
I said the other night, like in preseason, on the preseason game, I turned to Win and I was like, is this the best he's ever looked? And he was like, ever? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, the playoffs? I was like, oh, no, the start of season. No. Obviously dropping 50 points in the bubble. Pretty good. 30 point Western Conference. Yeah. 50, 40, 90 in the Western Conference Finals was pretty good. 30-point triple-double in the NBA Finals. Pretty good. Okay.
Like, if you consistently get this level, like he had 25 and 10 in the opener, that's probably more like combined points and assists than he's usually going to have. But this was about, 23 and 5. A very efficient plus 15 from him when he's staggering for a significant chunk of his minutes with the second unit, and they were still plus 15. If that is the baseline Jamal Murray game, the Nuggets are going to win a lot of games. And I think he has taken a step forward. I think he's leveled up in a lot of important ways. It may not be from a complete statistical perspective, but I think the mentality is just different. It's there, and I think he has learned what he needs to do and is on the way to do it.
I care about metrics a lot. I pay attention to metrics a lot. I throw a lot of stats at people. I focus on stats a lot. But this is it for me right here from Big Honey. Not saying he's been perfect, but I just love the way he started the season. I love the way that Jamal Murray has played basketball to start the season. It's been really great. That's going to do it for Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for being with us. We'll be back tomorrow night for No Jinx on Sunday. You can catch us at around 10:30 Mountain Time. Appreciate you guys being with us. We'll see you guys again next time on Locked On Nuggets.
360
for a 75-year-old.